say do that job in that company and earn 80k, or do the same job in KO Estates and earn $500,000. Like, mind blown. Okay, let's do it. We are on a huge recruitment drive at KO Estates in terms of the sales team. So I thought it would be good to get an insider scoop of what life is like as a KO sales consultant, about selling at KO Estates, the commissions you can make, the money you can make in sales, how Tom got started, how to get into it, even with no experience at all. So let's go pick him up and see what he says. Trust me, this job is not for anyone. It is very, very different to traditional property jobs, real estate agents. Like, we are not one of those, I'm going to be totally honest. So naturally, it isn't for everyone. However, we tend to attract top performers because we are a commission-only model. So this is very common in other countries like Dubai, America, but it's very unheard of here. But basically what that means is you get paid for the deals you do. It means you have no base salary. So this is why it isn't for everyone, because that whole thing of security just isn't there. However, you can get paid a hell of a lot more through the deals you do, because you can get from 35 to 50% of the deals that you make. Really good example of why we attract the top performers is one of our team. He worked at a competitor, and that previous year he billed for that competitor like close to £1 million. Okay, for easy figures we're going to use £1 million. Now he was on a base salary and a very, very low comms, so the max he probably made that year was like 70 to 80k, and you'd brought into the company £1 million. Now flip that on its head at KO Estates, he could have been earning half of that by billing exactly the same amount, doing exactly the same job, but for KO Estates. So you can see why that's an absolute no-brainer, because I can say do that job in that company and earn 80k, or do the same job in KO Estates and earn $500,000. Like, mind blown. No competition, and that is how we can attract the right people. But as I said, we have to attract the right people, because it's not going to be right for them or us if people are coming in and just wanting to coast, because there is no base salary. They're not going to stick around long, and that is how and why we need to attract the very, very best talent, because not only it's going to benefit us as a company, but them as a personal, because they'll be able to earn money that they've never been able to earn otherwise. So Tom has no clue we're going to do this morning, but he's getting a free lift in, so you know, you can't really complain. I'll be there in a moment.
Yo.
Good morning, bro.
You okay? Oh.
How are we doing?
I've just sneezed like 20 times.
You got hay fever?
Yeah.
We've got some questions to ask you this morning. Well, we're just going to ask you some questions this morning.
Yeah.
Because I think it's really good to kind of set the scene of what life is like at KO Estates as a sales consultant.
Ooh.
Okay, so I'm going to start with some quick fires just to warm you up, because you do look a bit tired this morning.
Okay.
You need to sing for your supper a bit today. It's not just a free lift. I'm genuinely Tom's taxi driver. No, chauffeur. I
you
pick
drive
him up.
This way anyway.
It's door-to-door service.
As it should be.
Got mug written on my forehead. Anyway. Tom, quick fire, you ready?
Okay.
How old are you?
20.
How long have you been working at KO Estates?
7 months.
Do you think you'll ever learn to drive?
No.
Okay. Starting with a bit of context and background of like your career, your path to date so far, could you just fill everyone in on like what you've been up to?
Yeah, so essentially finished school in 2022. Went to sixth form.
What did you do at sixth form?
Did business, economics and psychology.
How'd you do?
Bang average. Coasted, got BBB.
That's alright, that's strong.
Didn't want to go to university. Got an apprenticeship at a quantity surveying firm in Manchester. Worked on some of the top projects in and around the city. Great experience. Always knew I wanted to be within the property space.
What did you learn from that role?
Learned a lot. In regards to the construction sides of projects. I wanted to learn more about the construction of property and how to manage that process, which I think was key. Managing teams, the finance side of things.
Why did you do an apprenticeship rather than uni? Because I guess that was the choice at the time.
Yeah, I always knew I didn't want to go to uni. So then it was...
Reason behind it?
Oh, I was done with A-levels, as I mentioned, coasted.
Yeah.
Not the most academic person.
Oh, don't put yourself down, bro.
No, I didn't say not smart. But no, sitting in a classroom, learning, it wasn't for me. I saw university as a 3-year party, which would have been incredible, don't get me wrong. But it's 3 years worth of experience within the industry I want to work in, more valuable, absolutely. Can also get paid whilst I'm doing it.
Yeah, I think you made the right choice, to be fair.
Without doubt.
I think if you go into uni, like certain career paths, you need it. Doctors, like, not going to
100%.
argue with it. But anything else, if you're not that way inclined, like, you're going to learn better on the job anyway. So sorry, I jumped in there, but you were working at Artel, you were in your apprenticeship.
Yeah.
What happened next?
Got to a point where learnt so much, built some great relationships, but reviewed where I was in my career about 2 years into that role and where the next 2-5 years would have been. I felt there was definitely a limiting factor on how far I could have gone, considerably more opportunities elsewhere, and I decided for my career it would progress me significantly quicker moving to KO Estates and learning a different skill set.
I think at the time you were like flirting with the fact that you wanted to do sales, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And obviously we had a company where you could have worked as sales. I think at the start we were I think actually Tom has it hardest because his family, I want him to prove it even more so that people don't think like,
oh,
you've got like princess
nothing.
treatment. I actually think he has to work harder because he wants to prove, and I want to prove to everyone that he's not getting special treatment.
That's great.
So he was in the same boat as everyone else at the time. We were like, we're not giving you a salary, you can come in, you can crack on, you can roll up your sleeves, like, we're not giving you preferential treatment, not getting any leads, you're getting treated exactly the same as everyone else. And all credit to you, bro, you were like, right, I'm going all in.
Absolutely. Oh, it's commission only, I didn't really have much of a choice, so,
Why was it sales that you wanted to get into? You can be honest, Tom.
Yeah, no, I do understand. It's definitely money incentivized, without doubt.
I thought you were flirting around the fact.
No,
Tom is
100%.
very money motivated. That's not a bad thing. I'd say that's just a genuine fact
100%.
about you. And I think you were in the property industry, but you saw kind of how much the team at KO Estates were making. And I think that's why it's good to have that network and friends, and that's how I've benefited as well, of people can show you what is possible. So we would come home every day and be like, oh, like, this person's made this amount this month and this amount this month. And I think you saw that as like, I'm in the wrong job.
Yeah, there was definitely, again, one of the reasons why I moved across is always a limiting factor when you're in a 9-to-5 role, is you can climb up, you can go to associate director, CEO even. But in the industry I was in, from what I understand, there's not those £200,000-300,000 opportunities where if you work very, very hard in sales or a commission-based role, whatever role, if you're a business owner, it's unlimited potential.
Did you want a coffee, by the way?
No thanks.
Yeah, so you started in KO Estates.
Yeah.
Talk to me about your first 6 months, because you'd never done sales before. Although, like, you were in construction, I think it was just a very different game.
Oh, absolutely. So first 6 months, start the sales process, it was definitely slow, but we have an incredible team around us. Dean, head of sales at KO Estates, absolutely smashed it, took me on, did a lot of coaching with, which I appreciate massively, and it helped tremendously get me to understand the pitch, how we do things, and he's been one of the leading sales rep at another firm in the past, so that was an incredible experience. Following on from that, 6 months was hard work, it led to 0 sales. Not ideal.
Tom is being like glossing over the fact, like, it was 6 months hard slog.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, there was days we were coming home and he was like, is this the career path for me? Even I started to get guilty. I was like, I sold him the dream. I said, like, he could make so much money and it would be so good, and it was not happening. And not because you weren't putting the effort in. There was a multitude of things, weren't there? Like, you hadn't had any experience, so you needed to do like those 10,000 hours. But when you are doing those 10,000 hours on a commission only structure, that can feel painful because
big time. There's a lot of money going out, not a lot coming in.
Yeah, you've got the stress, the financial stress, haven't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, tell us about your first deal and like how long it took, everything.
First deal fell upon, in all honesty. It was very, very smooth, lovely guy, and I'm not even sure. We fell across him and we just had the product of which he was looking for already. So very, very simply walked him through the process, and it was for a studio apartment in Liverpool city centre. So that was for just under £180,000, and yeah, that went through in March.
Yeah.
So that was my first month, again, 6 months in.
I think you started in the September and your first sale was in the March.
Yeah, I'd like to think anyone coming into KO Estates now, even if very fresh to sales,
I'd prefer to not like
you did say that to me.
Yeah.
You're like, Tom,
like, expect
I
6
don't want
months.
it to be like this.
I would tell anyone coming in,
6 months.
Expect 6 months no sales. And if you do, obviously that's a bonus, but if you budget for 6, it takes the pressure off, because I think people do start to get a little bit itchy or stressed, and they're like, oh my God, it's month 3, I've still not made a sale, I'm not going to be able to afford rent next month, and they might like bottle it a bit. I would always say at least budget for 6 months.
Yeah, because you also perform worse.
Yeah.
Under that stress of like, I can't pay rent, it starts getting tight. But of course, we are in a fortunate situation where the deals we do make are worth, good money. So, that first sale comes in, it starts to catch you up again.
So, talking money, if you don't mind, what was your first sale worth to you?
4.5.
Okay, so you got 4.5k in your first month.
Yes.
And then talk to me about earnings after that point.
Yes, so that was in March.
Yeah.
Then April was no sales. May, I earned 8,000, and we're now in June, in which what are we on, the 10th?
The 10th of June, yeah.
And it should be it's 11 so far. So hopefully get that up
Boom. So
a bit higher by the end of the
when
month.
you kind of like work out the average, like for 6 months, the first 6 months,
Yeah.
nothing. But you were in like hustle mode. Like Tom, in all fairness to him, put the hours in. Like he was making the most call time out of anyone. He was doing the most outbound calls. He was speaking to as many people as possible. And he was just like slicking up that pitch. Like you have to understand and get to know how to pitch something, what the product is, how to speak to people. Like you had never made a call before, I don't think. I'm not being dramatic. Like you did.
No, never called anyone prior.
So
to
like,
working here.
yeah, you had 6 months hard graft, and not that you don't still hard graft now, but now I think you've got the pipeline, you've got the skill a lot more, and now you've got clients that will come back to you, which makes the pipeline thing a lot easier. Like the first 6 months are going to be the hardest because you've got no previous clients, you are starting out fresh from the first time, whereas like once you've passed that 6 month hurdle, I think someone you spoke to on your second month, they're now ready, they've now got the deposit, and they're now coming back to you like 6 months later.
Yeah, if you do a good job, you build that relationship.
Yeah, like it's a long-term play, because people, like property isn't a convenient item. It's not like Tesco and you throw in a pack of chewing gum at the end of the shop. Like
we're asking
this
people
is
to give up a lot of money.
Yeah, like the biggest purchase people will ever make. It's an investment. They need to feel confident, comfortable, like their hard-earned cash. You want to make sure that they are putting it into like the best product ever and feeling comfortable doing that. So it is a longer process, and I think people do have to understand that it's a longer term play, but obviously the rewards can be massive, because now like you've just had a 4k month, an 8k month, an 11k month, and we're not even like halfway through the month yet. Like, so the figures that you can generate can be huge. Like I said, one of our first members of the team made 200k last year, people on track to doing 6 figures. Like, it can be very, very profitable and lucrative, but I definitely never would want to disguise the hard work that's put in. Tom, tell us what that feeling's like of getting a res fee in foreman.
Not a feeling on this earth that beats it. It happened, when was it, Thursday?
Yeah.
Oh, electric.
You are like on cloud 9, aren't you?
Absolutely love it. Confidence skyrockets. You get that 5k res fee in and you just know,
Jeez! Yeah.
sorted. That of course has to complete, but it's like the first step, and that's the biggest step without a doubt.
And what did the first fee, when that landed, what did that feel like?
It's the same every single time. Like, it's just
Don't get old.
different level. Like, experiencing that, them sending confirmation that the reservation fee and form's been sent, is incredible.
So what do you like most about KO Estates?
The environment we've built is incredible. You know, there's, on a daily basis, a mix of, 4, 5, 6 sales reps in the Altrincham office. Absolutely love it. You get to the benefit of bouncing off some of the top sales reps within the industry, across.
Oh my God, yeah, hearing the team is like inspiring. Like, there's some skilled guys in there, and when they're on the A game, you're like, oof. Like, you just learn a lot being in the office, I think.
Yeah, you do pick up a lot, and you'll hear something Dean says, and it involves within your pitch. Then you think, I'll take little bits from everyone. So I think that was definitely a key part to my going back to the first 6 months learning experience. You have to be in the office.
Yeah, 100%.
Without a doubt.
5 days a week. For the first 6 months, I wouldn't even think about working from home. Like, you need to be in that office grafting, like, long hours, getting it done.
Yeah, we benefit from being self-employed essentially, so tax reasons, very, very efficient, which I think is key. It also allows us to feel like our own boss. We, if I don't bill, if I don't work hard enough, I don't get to eat. There's no money coming in.
You do really get out of it what you put in.
100%.
Like, I've seen people come in, do bare minimum, scrape by, and then I've seen people come in and have actually, like Dean says it every day, like, the opportunity I have right now, like, I'll never get anywhere else, I'll never get again. And I think if you take that mindset to it and be like, I am all in, I'm gonna make hay while the sun shines, like, you have an insane opportunity for anyone who is in that sales space.
Without a doubt. The money we're talking about, a small deal, my first one, £4,500 in the grant, like, in the opportunity of property we have here at KO Estates, very, very small fee. So, and that being more than the average salary in the UK on a per monthly basis is outrageous. So getting 1 or 2, 3 of those done in a month, or some of the larger deals we've got here, it is life-changing money, in all honesty. Getting, last month was an £8,000 paycheck. Absolutely never had anything like that in my life. So, I earned £15,000 last year.
Oh. Yeah, but that was an apprenticeship salary. I still think that was worthwhile because you learnt a lot about, like, businesses, corporate, like, how...
No, I don't regret it at all.
How to email people. Like, yeah, I think, like, an apprenticeship salary is obviously different, but this just gives you, like, an insane opportunity to earn some great money. What are the worst things that you hate about KO Estates?
You could give me a wage.
Not gonna happen. If I give you a wage, Tom...
No, don't.
We will slash those comms right down to reality, and you may as well just go and get a job at a competitor.
Yeah, no.
If someone was thinking of getting into this space, who would you say the opportunities for, and who's it not for?
If you've got to be money motivated. Everyone's here for, one reason. Very, very well-paid industry. Commission basis, so you've got to be driven. You've got to understand that you can't just coast along in this. It's not a 9-to-5 job. You are going to be expected to work outside of those hours, if you are wanting to do well in this career. So it's not an easy ride, and don't get into it if that's what you think property is going to be. However, it is for those driven individuals that are, you know, whether you want to own a business, because, you know, technically we still do, although under KO Estates, it is, you are what you make of it.
I think it's like the nice hybrid of like, you get out of it what you put in, you get paid for what you do, so it is like you are owning a business essentially, but you've got the support, you've got the training, you've got the education, you've got the leads coming in, you've got the properties. Like, we create an environment for everyone
Correct.
to win and plug it in, and that's like, we help people grow their personal brands. Like, we want everyone to be winners, because if they win, then so is KO Estates.
Yeah, and that's the best thing, you know, every win, everyone loves, you know, we whack it in the group chat, everyone's saying congratulations, got it over the line.
And to finish things off, what would you say to anyone who's wanting to join the team?
Have 6 months worth of savings.
Yeah.
Understand that it's, of course, not the goal. We want you coming in like Millie came in first month, boom, got a sale in.
She
Ideal.
did, didn't she? It was like in the second week.
So quick, which was amazing. You know, she was obviously one of the top reps at our old company. But you've got to, especially being brand new to sales, I'd have that expectation. But do it sooner rather than later, without a doubt.
Love that, Tom. Appreciate it on this fine morning. Having a camera shoved in your face probably wasn't what you were expecting, but
Not ideal.
you've helped a lot of people. So over and out, team. Big love.